More teenagers than ever are turning to chatbots for emotional support, and while the trend makes sense on the surface, it carries deeper risks that deserve real attention. Teens live in a world where vulnerability feels dangerous, where every confession can be screenshot, judged, or spread. An anonymous, always available AI feels safer than opening up to a parent, a teacher, or even a close friend. With a chatbot, there's no fear of embarrassment, no risk of rejection, and no social consequences. Many teens say that talking to an AI makes them feel heard without pressure. It becomes a space where they can express anger, sadness, or confusion without worrying about being misunderstood. There's value in that comfort. It can help a teen articulate emotions they can't name yet. It can provide grounding during moments of stress. It can spark early self-awareness by asking gentle questions or offering simple coping tools. For some teens who feel isolated or unheard, AI becomes a stepping stone toward acknowledging that they're struggling at all. But despite these benefits, the warnings are serious and far too often overlooked. When teens rely heavily on AI for emotional support, they are building their coping strategies on a foundation that cannot truly understand them. Chatbots can mimic empathy, but they cannot feel it. They cannot recognize subtle red flags in a teen's voice or catch the emotional contradictions that a trained adult would spot immediately. And because teens are still developing emotionally, they may not notice when responses are generic, misleading, or based on hallucinated information. In moments of real distress, self-harm thoughts, panic, trauma triggers, an AI's soothing tone can create the illusion of safety while offering advice that lacks clinical grounding. That false sense of security can delay real help, leaving teens more vulnerable when their emotional world becomes overwhelming. There's also the danger of emotional dependence. Teens form attachments easily, especially when they feel unseen in their offline lives. A chatbot that responds instantly, validates everything, and never gets frustrated can become a digital comfort object. At first, this feels like emotional relief. Over time, it can weaken the teen's ability to practice communication with real people who are naturally imperfect and unpredictable. If a young person learns to seek reassurance from an AI every time they feel anxious or sad, they may lose confidence in their ability to regulate emotions on their own. Technology becomes a quick-fix escape instead of a tool, and the brain begins to crave the predictable comfort of that artificial relationship. The risk isn't just that teens talk to chatbots, it's that chatbots begin replacing the human connections teens desperately need. Privacy concerns add another layer of risk. When a teen shares intimate fears, secrets, or trauma with an AI system, they may not fully understand what happens to that data. Even if the platform claims to protect it, teens rarely read the details or even know what questions to ask. Sensitive emotional disclosures could be stored, analyzed, or used to shape engagement patterns. In the wrong hands, this information can become a tool for marketing or data modeling. Unlike a therapist who is bound by strict confidentiality rules, AI systems exist in an ambiguous ethical space. Teens may be exposing their most vulnerable moments without knowing who or what has access to them. Yet it's important to acknowledge the positive side because teens aren't turning to AI without reason. Many feel overwhelmed by academic pressure, social drama, identity questions, or family conflict. They turn to AI because they want to talk without judgment. They want support that doesn't escalate to punishment or worry. They want a listener who never interrupts, never rolls their eyes, never gets angry. These needs are real, and adults who ignore them risk pushing teens even closer toward unsafe digital substitutes. The healthier path is to channel that desire for anonymous, low-pressure support into safer alternatives. Mental health apps created with clinical oversight, anonymous youth helplines, moderated support groups, and peer-led mental health communities can provide environments that respect teen privacy without losing human judgment. Schools and families can also teach digital literacy around emotional AI, explaining what chatbots can do, where they fall short, and how to use them safely without relying on them as emotional crutches. And perhaps most importantly, adults must create spaces, both at home and in communities, where teens feel safe expressing difficult feelings without fear of punishment or dismissal. If teens learn that humans can offer real understanding, the allure of AI emotional substitutes becomes less overpowering. In the end, The rise of teens turning to chatbots is not just a technological issue, it's a cultural signal. It reveals gaps in emotional support, trust, and psychological safety in teens' offline lives. AI can offer comfort, reflection, and small grounding moments, and those benefits shouldn't be denied. But it cannot replace the human presence, emotional attunement, and moral responsibility that teens truly need as they navigate one of the most turbulent developmental stages of life. The goal is not to ban AI, but to guide teens towards safer, more balanced ways of caring for their minds, and to ensure that the digital world never becomes their only lifeline.